We'll call the meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. This is the regular meeting of Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West, held in Council Chambers at 216 Main Street West, Swan, Manitoba, this 25th day of June 2024 at 7 p.m. Present this evening, Reeve, Gade, Councillors Brian Burick, Carrie, Blosha, Kushniryk, McGregor, Byron, Zbirun, and Neely. Our assistant CAO, Kristi, Ronnquist is here, and our videographer, Byron, joins us as well. We've got a couple people in the gallery at the moment. We'll hop into the meeting at number 2, adopting the agenda. Be it resolved, the agenda for the regular meeting of Council held this 25th day of June 2024 shall be adopted as presented. Is there a mover? Councillor Neely and Councillor Blosha. Any changes, additions, deletions that you wish to suggest tonight, folks? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That's carried. On to number 3, adopting the minutes. Copy of the minutes is attached to the agenda for you. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting held June 11th, 2024 be adopted as presented. Is there a mover? Councillor Kushniryk and Councillor there is Burick. Yep. Is there any errors or omissions in the minutes that you see tonight? Has everyone had a chance to review them? Does anyone need more time? Hearing nothing, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That's carried. We have a couple public hearings tonight. They're scheduled for 7:15 and 7:25. So we'll carry on with some other business in the meantime, and we'll come back and pick those up once it's the appropriate time. So go to 7.1, General Cheques. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West hereby approves the following payments. General Cheques number 19789 to 19826 in the amount of $169,306.06, and General Cheque 19827 in the amount of $9,142.19. Is there a mover? Councillor Kushniryk, I see Councillor Burick down at the end of the table. I have almost all the checks here tonight. A list of them is provided for Council and the public on the agenda. Who has questions about checks? Councillor Blosha, you don't disappoint. Which check?
19806. Wonder what that about, please.
19806.
I had 3, I just have to find the other 2.
19806 is for $300, hydro poles, diamond heroes, and deck screws.
4.
Diamond heroes were for beaver control. Hydro poles were for cleaning culverts. Your guess is as good as mine on the deck screws.
I just wondered why it was written to that individual.
This is the bill of sale that came.
Oh, okay, so this is a owner and we're buying from an owner. Okay, nope, that's why I want to know about that one.
Just slow down a second. I gotta put this back.
That's okay.
Oh, deck screws for the old trailer that we just saw.
19808. I'm guessing that's this, but
that is the ad in that book, yes.
oh, that's our ad. Okay. Okay, I had one
Quarter
more.
page ad.
If anybody else has another one, just go ahead. I can't find the other one.
Who's next?
19798. No use looking, it's a big fat file. I was wondering how close we getting to being completed with that contractor. Brian, do you have any idea?
Not as close as the other one.
The other one's done, apparently.
Thanks.
The other one's done. This one's got lots to go yet, I understand. I don't know exactly how much lots to go.
Yeah, I think they're over half, but I wouldn't say they're much over half.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of an agreement coming?
With regard to actually getting it done.
Assistance or?
So holistically, I can advise that the south contractor, Mr. Barkman, has completed his work.
Yeah, okay.
He is unavailable for the next 2 weeks because he has some jobs pending that waited for us. He said that when those 2 weeks expire, he would give me a call.
Okay.
And if we needed him to go apply gravel, he would be game to do some more of that. In the
they
meantime,
had come up to, they jotted or something.
yeah. In the meantime, Cooks is doing their thing. On the topic of this check, we found that they were charging PST, which is not in keeping with the current PST rules in Manitoba. Because we're a municipality, we don't pay PST on gravel. So we've removed it from these particular checks, and it's appended to the to-do list for accounting to look back over the last couple of years and see if PST was charged on gravel then as well that shouldn't have been, and go fetch it back also. There's also, of these checks that are written tonight, they don't represent all of the work done yet. These represent the ones that we've been able to verify.
Oh, I see, okay.
And that verification process is what caught the PST, and there's also, some of these have been short paid for work that was on the invoice but wasn't performed.
Without going into it too much, did Barkman have more trucks on the road that he finished for?
No,
No, he went
Longer
a lot
hours.
longer hours.
Yeah.
Like he
And
was
stuck to
going
the
long.
job too, I
Oh,
think.
but yeah, I know that.
He was going like 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
And he stuck to the job too, he didn't run around other places.
No, he had probably half the trucks full.
and he was very motivated, you have to remember, because he said at the outset he intended to prove how quick this could be done. So they worked as hard as they possibly could, which is a good thing. Because
Yeah,
2 weeks
oh,
from
yeah,
now, he may
yeah,
get
yeah.
some more work over it. Councillor Blosha.
19,821, go to 3965 and 4049. Again, like, are those coded wrong or?
That first one is Candy's.
No, it's both diesel.
3965 and 4049.
It's diesel,
Office
diesel
groceries.
at the same place.
Office groceries.
Diesel at the same place at the same. You see that?
Mm-hmm. So,
Candy better not be that much.
There's no diesel to Swan, so one has to be Swan.
Well, that's what I'm saying,
Well, but Swan
but we always
doesn't have a
see
diesel tank.
everything is Durban.
There's another one there.
But
Swan's-
they would it be Dokes?
yeah, Swan just goes to Dokes and fills up. So, diesel doesn't get delivered to Swan. But for anything that's not going to Dokes, like I said, putting it in a slip tank and taking it to something, you're putting it in a slip tank at Durban. So these are the actual ones. One of them says Durban handwritten on it.
3695 or
The other one doesn't.
3965.
But we don't have a tank at Swan for them to take to, so it had to have gone to Durban.
But on the same,
What are your dates?
They're 2 weeks apart, what I see of it.
I just don't know how we could use that much fuel in 2 weeks.
Busy grading.
We went through this before, it's just, it's the billing period or something.
We could be filling our truck down there too if it was hauling up to Sarah Lake and stuff. So that would have been out of there soon.
We just gotta keep in, like, what's filling up out of there.
They had logbooks there, but I think they've
Because it just seems to me
discontinued their use.
every 2 weeks is the same fill.
Can we send it to your list of things to look into, and could we ask them to maybe actually do the logbook for a few weeks so we can see where it goes? That would be helpful for us. Any other questions on checks tonight? Not all of them.
Well, you want me to make up some?
Let's vote. All right, hearing nothing else, we'll call the question on the resolution. Those in favor? That is carried. Let's go to payroll check 7-2. Be resolved, the Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West hereby approves the following payments. Payroll payments number 439 to 453 in the amount of $30,962.91. Is there a mover? Councillor Neely, and someone to second the resolution. Councillor McGregor. Copy of the payroll checks are attached to the agenda in the private view for council's eyes only. Does anyone have questions of a generic nature that you could ask an open council, or does anybody wish to refer it to the in-camera session? Going once, going twice, hearing nothing, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. Next up, bank reconciliation. Ooh, what did I do? Oh, I see what I did. Computers, they're so great. Copy of the latest, there it is. Bank reconciliation is attached. We have a resolution for that as well. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West hereby receives the bank reconciliation and financial statement for the period ending June 25th, 2024 as presented. Is there a mover? Councillor Kushniryk, can someone second the resolution? Councillor Blosha. This represents, now, my belief is this represents not only checks we've written, but also payments that are pending and haven't been written yet. So there are some invoices that have come in, but they're either not due yet, or we're still holding them for verification of some of that work. So those amounts would be showing in here already, I believe, plus all the checks that have actually been written. It shows you the budget amount for the year. It doesn't do a percentage, but it's pretty easy to do in your mind. As we get to be halfway through the year, for the stuff that's evenly spent throughout the year, you can see how we're doing on budget. And certainly, you can peek through it. Does anyone have questions on it right now?
Which line is our gravel on?
It is under transportation services, and then a little further down. It's 534
Right there.
to 340.
Yeah, 340.
That seems to be showing kind of low, doesn't it? This must not be showing things that aren't written yet.
Right,
then.
it's probably
Because it's not showing like,
it's not up to,
Yeah,
it's not showing
enough there
doctor
yet.
recruitment or.
today's is
anything.
probably not on there yet too, eh? Today's payment.
No, the intention was it should have been, but I wonder if this was printed before the checks were finalized.
Yeah,
June 30th.
This is printed yesterday, and the checks were in today, so it's one day too old.
but even today, what's today's checks? 88,000?
No, 100 and some.
100 and some.
100 and some, so I mean, still it's gonna be, even you add that on there, it's way low than
Oh,
what we
for
estimated.
gravel, it was 83,000,
We are, like, there's
86.
a couple of the invoices that are being held are for more than a whole month of hauling.
Okay,
So there's a substantial invoice being held back, one for each contractor right now, pending verification. So there'll be,
so when will that be updated at next meeting?
I would assume it will be.
Okay.
I think those will probably be cleared for payment in the next couple of days.
Okay.
The checks will
Whatever's
go the
left
next
behind
time.
gets divided by 6.
No, divided by 1.
Gravel crushing, we haven't, and it's, so the gravel crushing thing, like there's, we normally see it as crushing all the gravel, but we've been hauling straight off the crusher for some of this haul already. And so some of that's showing up in a different line than crushing ahead. So there's gonna have to be some magic done there to fully understand the numbers as they come in.
Okay, can I ask a question here about the
Sure can.
physician recruitment line?
Which one is it?
It would be on page 5, Public Health and Welfare Services. 550, 500, 210.
Okay, got it.
Shows we paid it though, correct?
Shows we paid last year.
Oh, okay, we haven't paid this year,
Not this
yeah.
year, no. It's 45 budgeted, nothing paid, 88 paid last year.
Okay,
Getting back to the hauling of gravel, haul road, estimated at 50,000, is that 216?
That was all our haul road projects, so 216 plus by the airport.
That's what,
That's repairs or
Yeah.
whatever, not gravel.
it
Or
says
not
haul.
hauling, that's road construction.
No, it says haul roads, blank and
Yeah, but
250.
haul-
Haul
roads,
roads, I thought you said hauling.
I thought
yes,
it was-
there's
I
an
thought
S,
that- I thought
S
that-
on the end of it.
I thought that was
Haul roads,
216.
yeah, 50,000.
Okay,
We just need somebody to run the show.
okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. It being slightly after 7:15, we'll move up our agenda to 4.1. Be it resolved that this regular meeting of council shall now adjourn at 7:17 PM to proceed with the public hearing regarding the variation order at Northeast 233627, and we'll reconvene following the public hearing. Someone to move the resolution. Okay, it's Councillor Blosha and Councillor Burick. Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. So this evening in our first public hearing, we're looking at a variation order. A copy of that is attached to the agenda. So we will call the public hearing to order. This is the public hearing, the first public hearing of the evening for June 25th, 2024. The full council is present tonight along with the assistant CAO. So this application is by Mr. Riddle. He is looking to build a shed 10 feet from the property line. Our requirements are 25 feet. As such, he has to ask for permission to do this. We've advertised this in the Star and Times as we're required to do so. Mr. Riddle submitted paperwork showing that Jake Zinke was okay with the request. That's the next door neighbor, so he has no concerns about it being there. So we then turn to the gallery. Is there anybody here tonight that wishes to speak for or against the building of a shed by Mr. Riddle? Not so much. Does council have anything you wish to discuss in the hearing?
That's the first I've heard of it. It's in my ward, but he's out in the middle of nowhere there, and I don't think it'll ever affect anybody.
I agree.
No neighbors, like, I mean,
No.
the swamp is just next to it.
And the neighbor to the west had burnt down, didn't it?
Well, it's a couple to the west.
Couple to the west.
But, yeah, just Bigfoot will come out of the swamp there, like, have an objection, but other than that,
Okay. Tonight we have this set up a little differently on the agenda, so we're going to pick up the actual resolution for approving this later on in general business. But is there anything else you want to discuss about it now in the hearing part? And the resolution resolved that the public hearing be now adjourned to the regular meeting of council in Municipality of Swan Valley West shall reopen at 7:20 p.m. Is there a mover, please? Councillor Neely, and someone to second the resolution. I see Mr. Kushniryk. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That's carried. Our next hearing isn't scheduled until 7:25, so technically speaking, we can't start until then. So let's head to 8.1, mutual aid agreement. So a copy of a revised mutual aid agreement is attached. Council will recall that we previously approved a mutual aid agreement. However, while the other partners to it approved it, Minnetonka's Bozeman did not. They refused to accept the mutual aid agreement as presented. They have met with a committee of folks. I believe Councillor Zbirun was there? No? Who was there? I was there. Reeve Mahalchuk was there. Moria was there. So it was, I think, just a mishmash of people. And so the question was, why won't you approve it? Their concerns were that the original agreement called for them being billed if they couldn't find enough firefighters to fight a fire. And the number that was listed was 5. The thought was you needed someone to run the pump, 2 people on a hose, someone else's, some sort of safety, make sure what's going on a little bit, and probably one more. They were quite concerned about that. They felt that 3 would be a more appropriate number to fight a fire with, which would be a struggle. I think it would be hard to convince anybody that 3 people is the appropriate number for fighting a fire. If you were desperate, I get it. If you're trying to save something, but it's not an ideal situation to have 3. So they also were concerned that some of their firefighters travel from up to an hour away to attend a fire if it's harvest time. And so they wanted us to change the rules. And there's a lot of discussion, not all of it particularly friendly, but in the end, some terms were reached and it's here for council to weigh in on it. So under the new terms of the agreement, they have to have 5 firefighters, but they don't have to have them for up to 60 minutes after the page is received. So if a page is received at 7 o'clock, as long as 5 of their firefighters show up by 8 o'clock, there would be no billing for ostensibly Swan Valley Fire Board going and saving them, whatever they're doing. If by 8 o'clock they still can't find 5 firefighters, there would be billing for having gone and fought their fire for them. And the idea was to keep it so that mutual aid is mutual aid. We come and help, but we don't come and do for you. Because the goal is that you have your own fire department and you tax for that and you pay for that. With some exceptions to that. So twice a year, it would be free. So the first 2 times they couldn't find enough firefighters, they wouldn't be charged at all. The 3rd time they didn't find enough firefighters, the fire board would meet and determine if they would be charged or not, or if they had a good enough excuse to avoid the charges. Now, the additional exception that was then added was that if they found 0 firefighters and failed to respond to the page, they would be charged, even the first time, but only if the fire board approved it because their excuse wasn't good enough. Clear as mud?
Is this for all municipalities then?
This is for all municipalities. So say, for example, Benito could not find enough firefighters. I don't recall that happening, but I suppose it could someday. There would also not be billed for fire board to come out or Minnetonka's to come out. And same thing if Swan Valley couldn't find enough firefighters someday, which reasonably could happen. You know, we're looking at July long weekend, we have very low numbers of fire board people available. If something was to go wrong, it's possible we could have 4 members respond. And so then there would also be no billing the other way, up to twice a year.
Well, I suppose what goes around comes around, you know. It would likely, in the end, maybe balance out. It's hard to say.
It's, had we not seen some movement on the GIS program in the last few days,
Oh, yeah.
it was my intention to recommend we deny these requests. However, our partner has seen great movement in other parts of the world. They have joined us in another agreement. And the basic concern of the mutual aid agreement was that we didn't want any member of mutual aid not having a fire department and getting a service for free. So this does still fulfill that. It's a little more generous than some of the people around the table wanted to be. But it's, all the rules are the same, so it could well be that someday it will go the other way and a different department won't have enough.
They wouldn't go for 4 people instead of 5. Split the difference.
Nope. There. Well, they may have gone for 3,
Yeah, but they asked for 3.
They asked for 3.
Let's split the difference with 4, you know.
but it comes down to the idea of if every single municipality was charging the same amount of taxes for fire, I don't think we would be concerned. But we see some people charging a lot more for fire to taxpayers and having brand new fire trucks and having 20 firefighters. And we see other people charging less and not having new equipment in all the locations. This still doesn't resolve the Bozeman issue. And the Bozeman issue needs resolving. Because we had an instance where the closest fire truck didn't go to a call. And that has to end. We cannot have a fire truck sitting 20 minutes closer to a fire that stays in its garage because we're gonna drive from Minnetonka there instead.
There's nobody.
There ain't no truck there.
Hmm?
There's nothing there anymore.
Oh, there's no.
They serve it
truck
exclusively out of
involved at all.
Minnetonka's. So,
So the 1 hour seems long to me.
mhm.
A half hour to me might be fair because you take Benito, it's 21 minutes away. If it takes me 15 minutes to get there and get back out to where the call is at the furthest point before Swan would respond. But how many calls are only 45 minutes start to finish? So if I have 3 calls exceeding the 2 freebies on call number 3, I'm going to say, hey, I had firefighters that were going to be there by the 50th minute.
I'm trying to bite my tongue, but not many calls are less than 45 minutes if it takes you 35 minutes to get there.
What's the
I'm thinking it shouldn't take you 35 minutes to get there. So
If you sent the closest truck, it wouldn't.
any response from any other municipalities in this? Or?
The fire board has not met to discuss these changes. Town of Swan River does not get a vote.
They're not,
They don't have a fire department anymore.
well, the board, I guess, yeah.
So the board gets a vote. We get a vote on behalf of Benito, because we have a fire department in Benito. Minnetonka's Bozeman gets to vote, Mountain gets to vote. And Barrows too, but Barrows generally just goes along with. You can table it if you like and think about it for a couple of weeks. You can pass it, you can not pass it, you can suggest amendments.
Well, let's see.
What's the alternative? I mean, if we don't pass it,
I am hard to argue that we should play politics with fire trucks.
Like, everybody's met and basically agreed to this point.
Representatives of that.
Yes.
There was no majority, there's not a majority. The board there, the majority of our council wasn't there. It was discussed and this was what was come up with by the group to recommend. I'd rather have them in a mutual aid agreement than not have them in a mutual aid agreement. The agreement also provides, by the way, for the co-op, Spruce Products, LP, and Richardson for never billing and always responding. Because those are identified as priority properties
All
that,
fire departments can rule if necessary.
if necessary, depending on the request. And it's identified in running orders that if the caller is asking for, it's not an immediate dispatch, because some of those calls, for example, Co-op Agro gets a commercial alarm sounding call. That will not dispatch all fire departments. But if they receive a dispatch of actual voice call requesting many fire trucks, they will immediately dispatch them all.
And no money will change hands.
No money will change hands, because those are things that must be protected no matter what. Who else has thoughts? Councillor Burick, you're quiet.
I'm just taking it all in. It's hard to believe, but I don't know. Can we table it till next meeting? Or you wanna move it now? You wanna move it now?
I think so.
Well, if you're gonna move it, you can keep putting it, it's already been pretty well agreed to. And they made amendments.
There's nothing major anyways, we're not gonna,
No big change?
Sort of,
I mean,
it's like Bill said, playing politics with fire trucks is not.
and we have anything major we discovered during the time we can work out next time.
And there are spots in here for looking at it again. So it's not like this is forever. Any of the partners can say, we need to change something.
So we can change it any time then?
Well, there's
So
a-
changes can be
exit clause.
proposed. There's
That's
some
what I'm
terms
saying.
in here for how
Yeah,
to change it.
that's what I'm saying, okay. Well,
So what are we saying in general? We're in
Well,
agreement? We're in agreement with this? Is that what I'm hearing from everybody?
I think it's not the perfect agreement,
exactly,
but it's better than no agreement.
yeah.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah.
so it's 5 men within an hour of the.
Within an hour of the call. And twice you can mess that up before you get a bill. And on the third time you mess it up, there'll be some sanity check. The big concern that came up, and I think everybody knows at this point, the fire chiefs don't all get along. And so the concern was that the fire chiefs don't make the call on if a bill is sent or not. A group of people that hopefully are calmer get together and decide if a bill will be sent. Because the reality is, if the third time you missed is because there's a funeral someplace and 3 people are at the funeral, no one in their right mind is going to send a bill.
Yeah.
And as long as we don't have the fire chiefs in charge of deciding that on their own, things will stay calm.
Yeah.
But if the fire chiefs get to decide that on their own, things are going to get out of hand again.
They look after fire, not politics.
Exactly. We need to keep them fighting fires and us.
And maybe
dealing
they'll
with the rest.
maybe they'll move a truck closer. If they can move a truck closer, they won't have, that
Well,
won't
this-
be the problem.
This might be a step towards
If they move it-
doing something about Bozeman.
Move a truck closer.
At least then we got something to work with, we can,
It's a start.
yeah.
And the next step has to be getting closest truck going to Bozeman.
Like it's a nice little fire hall in Bozeman, it's not an old building.
And they have, like on their part, they have budgeted for a deputy fire chief in Bozeman to run a department.
Okay,
And I hope that works out for them.
Yeah.
Wouldn't hold my breath, but I hope it works out for them. Because it'd be good to have a fire department in Bozeman.
yeah,
But if that doesn't work out, then we should make sure the closest truck goes to the call. Because I was at the chamber office a few weeks back, watching the Minnetonka's fire trucks come down the boulevard, turn the corner, and go towards Bozeman. That's stupid. We can't let that keep happening. Like, why would we not send the closest truck?
We need a resolution then.
We have a resolution. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West approves the revised mutual aid agreement for the Greater Swan River Valley. Is there a mover? Councillor Neely, someone wish to second? Councillor Zbirun. Any further discussion? Hearing nothing, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. We will move back to our second public hearing. So that takes us to 4.2 on the agenda. Be it resolved, this regular meeting of council shall now adjourn at 7:33 p.m. To proceed with the public hearing regarding the application for conditional use at Northeast 353727. Is there a mover? Councillor Burick, someone to second the resolution. Councillor Kushniryk. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. So welcome everyone to public hearing number 2 of the evening. This is a conditional use request regarding, not really zoning, but specific use of the buildings. There's some special rules at play here, is why it's at council tonight. So we're looking to take an existing shop to give it permission to be a commercial safety and repair inspection shop. And MPI requires that we actually give specific permission to it. So the applicant in this case is Brad Mullen. And we're supposed to note that this public hearing is being attended by all of council plus our assistant CAO. Is there anyone here this evening that wishes to make a presentation for or against the application for the commercial safety inspection designation?
Do you want to hear just the four? Or?
Sure.
I guess it's just, we actually had it there a few years ago. And then, because we have our own journeyman mechanic on our farm, moved it to my place. So the safety was out of my place, but then Dad built a new shop. So all our mechanic work gets done at Dad's shop now. So it's just moving back, but it's nothing will change. It's all the same. We just do our own safeties anyways. We are certified to do other people, but we never have, never will probably. But
Didn't we pass a safety about
yeah,
5 years ago or something?
well, what happened
At
is
his
Dad,
place.
we did it at
Yeah,
Dad's,
yeah,
but then
Moved.
Jake started using my shop
Okay.
until we built the new shop.
okay.
So then we had to move it over
Okay.
to mine, and then now it's just going back to Dad's. But yeah, it's just more or less general farm purpose, but we do our own safeties. So.
Anybody else wish to speak to it? From council, any questions? Pretty clear request? We're all good?
Yep. Yep.
Be it resolved that the public hearing be now adjourned and the regular meeting of council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West shall reopen at 7:36 p.m. to proceed with the regular business of council. Is there a mover for that? Councillor Blosha and Councillor Kushniryk. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favor? If it pleases council, we're going to skip into general business 6.2. So we can just provide the answer officially before the evening wears on. So a resolution be it resolved, the council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West hereby approve the application for conditional use to change an existing shop into a commercial safety, repair, and vehicle inspection shop at Northeast 353727. And be it further resolved, the Reeve be authorized to sign the conditional use order and all other required paperwork related to the application. Is there a mover? Oh, guys, you're all raised now.
No, it's okay.
Councillor Neely and Councillor Burick. Any discussion on this item? Hearing nothing, we'll call the question. Those in favor?
Okay, no, Brian.
I'm just taking my time to
You're going.
offset them.
Oh, gosh.
Are you going back to the variation one then, 6?
Yeah, we'll go with 6.1 next. So that's approved, but the office will be in touch about paperwork in a day or two and get it all signed.
Yep, it's all good, Rick.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's the riddle one we just did.
No.
No,
when
we did his
that
first.
one
Oh,
Back.
Right on.
Yeah, it'll take them a day or two to get paperwork done up, but
Yeah, sounds good.
give you a call.
Right on, thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
Be resolved, the Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West hereby approve a variation order for the property located at the part of Northeast 233627, Plan 26607, to allow a shed 10 feet from the property boundary instead of the zone 25 feet. Be it further resolved, the Reeve be authorized to sign the variation order and all other required paperwork relating to the variation application. Is there a mover? Councillor Blosha. Someone to second. Councillor Neely. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. I have to find my other laptop back because this one's too slow. Let's go to 8.2. So this is what was tabled last meeting. It's back because I'm sure everybody spent some time reading it while we were away. Are we ready to discuss this yet, or do we need another 2 weeks? What we're looking for is any concerns or suggested changes to the development plan.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not real familiar with all of this stuff.
I think the people that are familiar with it worked hard to get it to that point. So I'm just like, okay, I think we should just,
Well, Lynn used to work on that in the office here.
well, she works in the boundaries of it, like,
Yeah,
So this was
not
prepared-
necessarily
not
on this
necessarily
part, but
she's building it, yeah.
she always looked after.
So our reps for this are Councillor Burick, right? And myself?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
the two of us are in the planning district. So we spent a week and a bit going through all of this. The only thing I didn't like about it was for Benito, I found that, where's the Benito map? It wasn't exactly what I had in mind for some of it. There was a little bit of it that I thought the property boundaries weren't quite far enough for the, because it doesn't include the new fire hall that needs to get added. And there's another little strip that I think we should be putting into that mixed use zone. But if you're fine with that, I will suggest that as a change to it.
Well, if it means the fire hall does a better home, yeah, let's do it.
Well, it would be nice to actually follow the new plan. You know, if we
Yeah.
make it and then break it the
Yeah,
very next day,
yeah.
it's kind of,
That's what I mean, we're in the process here, so
may as well do it
I
properly.
don't think anybody will object likely.
No, I don't think so. Oh, can you find the Benito one easier on paper?
Do we need
Oh,
to
yes.
contact the closest neighbor there to where the new fire hall is gonna be or not?
We may have to cross that bridge yet. We haven't got to that. We're still, they were out and surveyed for subdividing, but we haven't got to doing our own approvals for it yet, but we probably will have to do the same thing where we talk to everybody around and make sure they're okay with it. So this is Benito map. And so this is Benito proper, this part, which has always been the LUD. And then this whole section is kind of set out for what we call agricultural transition area. So it's the area where we think that we might end up building more Benito someday. This is agricultural land.
It's all
So-
south of it.
Yeah, it's all south, and then this little piece up in through here is already Benito zoning. So this is already whatever you want, like neighborhood zone. But it's right in here we need to add, and I would think this transition should just wrap around here too. Just
That
on
would
the off
include that
chance.
location
It would include the fire hall, and then it would include that other little,
north of Ag Shield there.
yeah. Just so that, because anywhere in here, we could at any time snap our fingers and make this be commercial, or a residential development, or apartment building, but in this part we can't.
In the light color
The
there.
light color we can't, but in this we could. And so if we just extend this color into here a little bit, just in case we go off one way or
Put it
the
all the way
other.
around the
Yeah,
block of Bonita.
and specifically it has to be this little piece
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
fire hall,
yeah.
that's gotta be, and that needs to turn purple, but that's easy enough to change. So I think that's the only thing I saw on it I would want to change. So,
I don't think you'll get any disagreement at this table about that,
okay,
as long as the rest of the crew is okay with it.
I suspect there will be, we were all pretty much of the mind to reduce red tape as much as we could with this, make it easier to navigate the zoning rules. Let's move on to 8.3. This is the recycling building. So a bunch of stuff on the agenda here. The first one is an agreement, and you may recall this from many months ago. There was an opportunity presented to our council where we were going to have a renter at the recycling building. So this is what was once used by the Lions recycling folks. That's purpose-built building at the landfill. We own 50%, the town owns 50%. They've been approached by Shared Health, or Prairie Mountain Health, depending on who this is written with, Shared Health, for storage of ambulances in the heated locations. They didn't have to leave them sitting outside running in the winter. So they're renting it for, I believe it's $1,000 a month. I don't see the number actually on here, it just says a fee schedule attached. And so when that rent was to come in, we were to receive 50%, and the town was to receive 50%. So the town has not forwarded any money. The town is of the opinion that we haven't paid our bills. And I said, what bill would that be? Well, you owe us 50% of the cost of running the building. Well, that might be, but where's the invoice? So it became apparent the town has forgotten to invoice us for the past several years for our share of the building. And I believe I smiled as I said, oh, but those years are closed now. So they're wishing a meeting to talk about this. But it gets better. When they signed this agreement, the town assured us the building was empty. About 4 days after they signed the agreement, it became apparent the building was not empty. The Lions still use it to do electronics recycling. So there was an initial war then. An agreement was reached between Shared Health and the Lions in the town that the Lions would use part of the building for recycling and leave lots of room for Shared Health. But Shared Health is now complaining that not enough room has been left for the ambulances. So there are some photos attached. Under Recycling Building Rental Info 2 is a report to the town of Swan River, prepared by the town CAO, recommending that a decision be made to either evict the Lions or evict Shared Health, and let the building be used by one or the other. Attached to that are some photos. Now the photos are angled so as to show that the recycling is taking almost all of the building, and the ambulance just barely has any room in there. So I did speak to the Lions Club, and I attended yesterday, and I also took photos. Those photos are attached as 1, 2, and 3. They're from a different angle. So when you look at the different angle of the photos, you'll see the ambulance is a very, very long ways away from the recycling if you take it from the door, instead of taking it with the pile angled to look like it's close to the ambulance.
Yeah, they're not even using a third.
No. The Lions point out that in addition to ambulances using space, so has been the town equipment that was parked in there over the winter. And that may have been the true cause of the lack of space for Shared Health. The Lions feel they can coexist peacefully with Shared Health if the town wasn't putting stuff in there in the way of both of them.
I suggest they put a stub wall up there as a divider.
The town council has discussed this. They are recommending Shared Health be evicted.
Oh, I wouldn't. If they need a spot like that, let them use it. Especially if these other guys continue to agree to use. Why not?
We should store some of our stuff in there in the winter.
Don't tempt me, Terry.
Well,
The Lions wish to point out that this is a list of all the material they've recycled in the last 6 years that hasn't gone to the landfill. They didn't provide me a total of the poundage, but it's roughly 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, roughly 28,000 pounds.
not even a semi-load.
Oh no, it's multiple. Each line is a full semi-load of stuff that
It's
didn't go to
better
the
there than
landfill.
in the landfill.
Because each line is the weight of a full semi-load they sent in for recycling.
Oh,
So it's 12, 6, 8, 10, 14 semi-loads that didn't go in the landfill, which is a good thing.
yeah.
So I would suggest that the lines need to stay. And if the ambulance folks can find a way to make that work, that's great. But I don't think it would be appropriate to throw the lines out.
No, I think the line should stay as well. Like,
Or
they've done a lot for us. In
according to
a
the
lot of
pictures here,
years. There's lots of room.
there's enough room to park 2 more ambulances between the recycling and, well, if you move that over a little bit, that one door, you know.
Yeah.
Put a wall up there, divider or something.
So the initial amount that EMS signed on for, did it get reduced when they found out they had to share the building?
No.
So why wouldn't they offer a reduction then and rope off and this is it and that's the deal?
Why wouldn't they?
Okay.
I just have a question, it's these ambulances, they're parking there, why are they parking them in there?
They seem to have a lot of ambulances
With the plane flying now, they
and not a lot of people to drive them.
So they gotta have a safe place for
Yeah,
them.
and they can't freeze.
No, I'm
I
just
understand, I
questioning,
totally
wondering why,
understand
you know.
that, but
So is this more that somebody else wants to use the space? Other than Prairie and the Lions?
You know how the fire chiefs don't always get along? The town and the Lions are kind of similar. Because when this all started, the town went in there and took all the Lions stuff and dumped it outside. And said, well, you weren't using the building, were you? And the Lions said, yeah, we were. That's where our stuff was in there. And then the town had to bring it back in, but they didn't bring it all in. And so the Lions are out there picking up stuff that's been in a snowbank because it got dumped outside. So there's some hard feelings. The town ultimately is requesting a meeting between our municipality and theirs, of some type of committee of 3. Our landfill committee, I believe, is you and me? Who's on landfill?
I don't know.
I think there's only 2 of us, so we need a 3rd. I thought you might enjoy that. So what we'll do is we'll coordinate a date with the town for 3 of us to get together with 3 of them, because I'm sure it is their external whatever committee they have, and we will have some discussion about this building. And then we'll come back with some news. You did mention the plane, so it's not particularly on the agenda, but the plane is flying less as of a couple days ago, because there are no longer people leaving the valley for CT scans.
Oh, that way, yeah. Well, they come in
However,
twice yesterday, I saw.
there has not yet been a grand opening for the CT scan, but dates are circulating to assemble the appropriate people for a photo. But I understand there are scans taking place this week.
Oh,
yeah, it started last week, I think, some
good.
ago.
They did 50 sample scans, and now they're into real ones. So, don't count on the plane not coming for too long. They're now talking about flying patients in
oh,
for CT scans because they have some availability here, and they may actually fly some here instead of flying ours out.
Well, that's different, eh?
Isn't it? Anything further on their recycling building? We'll leave that. We'll get the committee
well,
together.
not you 3 guys on the left, okay.
8-4, the AMM Parkland District meeting. We put that on the agenda. It was earlier today. We thought it deserved a little bit of discussion separate from just committee reports. We had quite a few people there today. Who would like to report on it?
Brian likes to report on it.
Councillor Burick.
I attended to start at 9, we're done about 2:15. The people that came in, like the delegates, like the speakers, they were excellent, I thought. They were good, very informative. They listened to us, and they're gonna take it back to the province, and it's on their agenda to deal with the situation that we have in the community here, and they're very cooperative. They're very informative, and there's that lady from Thompson, what is she? She's the...
She's the Vice President of AMM, and
Vice-
she's the
yeah,
third
Vice-
Vice President of the
yeah.
Federation of Canadian
She spoke
Municipalities.
very well. She spoke very well. I thought a very good speaker. And they're all good. No, I enjoyed it. And there's about, 60 delegates there? And everybody praised the Swan River, Swan Valley West, other municipalities for putting the meeting together, and they said it was one of the best places that they have attended, and they're looking forward to coming back. they have to come back, because those door prizes they have to attend
Yeah.
the rodeo and a few other things they've got tickets for, but I mean, it was, I enjoyed it, it was good.
Councillor Blosha?
No, I don't have much to add. I enjoyed myself as well. I found it easy to listen to and that they actually listened to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was great too.
Anything to add, Councillor Zbirun?
The only thing is, I thought there'd be more, we'd ask questions, but the questions were already written out and I guess they gotta be prepared to answer or whatever, but I just thought it would be more one-on-one type thing, like when the panel went up there, I thought, okay, like anybody with a question will be able to, but they already had the questions all written out. And that was the only thing, but other than that, it was very good.
So I, almost all positive, but I'll share the negatives first. I found it wasn't as good as the provincial conferences. As the provincial conferences, we would do that type of conversation like we saw today. When it was over, there would then be a half-hour question and answer period, and people from the audience would ask their own questions. And today they didn't do that because they were trying to compress it so much. But I think part of the discussion today was how to show people they should go to AMM. And so some people were there today that don't normally go to AMM. And they didn't get a full taste of what it would be like at the provincial conference because the same format wasn't followed, or there wasn't that same interaction some of the time. There was good information, it was good stuff, but some of the stuff you would see, if that same conversation was had with the minister at Winnipeg or Brandon, they would have taken questions for a while. And I think part of that also, like the minister was there all day and he had coffee and everybody sort of had a chance to go see him. In Winnipeg, the minister would only be there for that 90 minutes and then he would leave. And so that question and answer period would be the only chance you had, whereas here you kind of go grab them. So it's a bit of a different format because it was a smaller group. When you get 800 of us together,
Yeah.
it's a little different. On the positive side, though, everything else is positive. It was a lot of hard work. The committee, it was a committee of the 4 municipalities worked together to put that on, and everybody stepped up and did amazing things. We have been recognized by AMM and the minister as the best one they've been to. They said it was hands down the best. It wasn't cheap. We spent some money on this as the Valley, but the reason we did that is we know we have to promote the Valley, we have to be seen as really good. And so those gift bags that went home today with the people that attended, they had things from all over the Valley in them. They had, you know, a mug, a really expensive mug, but it has the Valley logo on it. It has fudge, it had mustard, it had coffee,
Had beef
jams,
jerky.
yeah. So it was, everything in there was from the Valley, just to showcase what we had. We had that video running all day, that some of you haven't seen yet, but it's just a 5-minute video of things in the Valley that are good. So LP, Spruce Products, Richardson, Ski Hill, just a variety of shots of the Valley, just to constantly show people, hey, this is a great place. So we worked really hard on that idea that everybody that left here today said, we wish we were like Swan Valley. And the more we do of that, the more they'll all look up to us, and it leads to opportunities. That's what's led to opportunities in Portage Prairie, is people say, oh, they're really good there. Well, maybe we should do this there. Well, we're really good here too. We did talk a lot about crime today. We talked about crime last night too. I'll get into that in committee reports. But overall, it was a great meeting. It will be in Grandview next year.
Next year.
So
No, Gilbert Plains, I think.
Was it
Gilbert
Gilbert Plains?
Plains,
Gilbert
yeah.
Plains, yeah.
I always confuse the two.
Yeah, it's good.
Gilbert Plains, the one with the golf course.
Yeah.
I know that, I wrote it down, so I,
You can hit a golf ball between both towns.
Yes.
yeah.
So, anything else on that? We'll move on.
It was good.
8.5, so we're discussing signing authority. As you know, Kristi is taking on more responsibilities as interim CAO, and not interim CAO, assistant CAO, sorry. So the suggestion is that we give her signing authority so that she has the same authority as a CAO would normally have. So we have a resolution for that. Be it resolved that Kristi Ronnquist be added as a signing authority for the Municipality of Swan Valley West. Moved by Councillor Neely, second by Councillor Blosha. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That's carried. 8.6 is somewhat similar but slightly different. So here we're talking about credit card authorization. Right now we have a credit card in the name of Mrs. Ellingson, and do we have a second one? I don't think we even do right now. Normally there's one issued in the name of the lead hand. but there isn't currently one issue for that. The resolution be it resolved that Kristi Ronnquist and Lois Borland be granted authorization to use the municipal credit card account, and be it further resolved that cards shall be issued on the account in each of their names. Is there someone to move that resolution? Councillor Kushniryk, did I see openers? Yeah, Councillor Burick. Discussion. Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That too is carried. 8.7, mulcher discussion. So attached to the agenda are a couple quotes from mulchers. This was brought last meeting. Councillor Burick asked to make sure this was on the agenda tonight, so it is here. I have to admit I have been out of the office all day, so I did not double check our purchasing policy to know if we're in compliance on these quotes.
Yeah, I think we better just table it and have a look at it.
But we can give it some discussion. This is, if we can do it with 2 quotes, we're good already. If we needed 3 quotes, and I think because we're under 50, we only need 2. I just want to double check that. But this is the quotes that have come back for us. There's a few different options here. The one is a 35,30 or 54,000. Do you want to speak to these, Councillor Kushniryk? Do you have more knowledge?
Probably not. So I think we viewed a video here amongst us showing how much more aggressive this mulcher is. It would definitely be far more efficient than what we're using now. It won't go through the consumable blades as frequently. The concern that was brought to my attention today, which may be affected because we are in such a wet year, is without the reach of the boom of the hoe, the skid steer may not get to the locations of some of these trees as easily. They really got stuck today. So they had to pull her out, and so I don't know. This is more of a hands-on operator's point of view. You know, we are wetter than normal. I don't think we would normally be as wet in the places that it's going. Terry's probably gonna have a lot more insight to something like that than I would, that's for sure. As far as how the skid steer would be able to get into most of the mulching areas on a normal year, not with this kind of wetness.
Well, it depends, I guess, how many houses can keep some water, you know. If you got tracks on, you can go darn near anywhere. I mean, once you get over the tracks, then you're running into trouble, right? But most of them, they're not many pounds per square inch
Yeah,
with the tracks, right?
because that's the thing with this mulcher. You got to get to the tree. There's no reach.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This is the unit that you showed us. in
This is the
video
one that'll
a few
spit that
months
tree
ago
out.
there.
The one here, I forget how many seconds he says. I think it's 6 seconds to a 14-inch tree.
Well, we saw them spitting that tree
Yeah.
out in chips.
So the one we watched is the which quote? Well, the Rage quote, and then there's a second quote here from Diamond.
Yeah, I see that 46,000.
So the 46,000 is the Rage machine. That's the one we watched.
Okay.
So the Diamond one is 38,000 is the one he would recommend. It's the middle of the pack for speed. The only difference is the spool up speed, how fast it recovers if you stall the blade out or when you fire up.
Yeah.
So he says he'd go with the middle line one, which is 38,000. The Rage quote does include all the hoses and connections. The other one does not. Does it come with it? I'm not 100% clear, but it would still be low enough to offset
This
that.
would be a budget item, wouldn't it, for next year?
No,
or did we budget to buy it this
We
year?
We
budgeted
didn't
for
budget this much though.
36, I think.
Then we gotta worry about the windshield too, eh?
We already have that.
Oh,
That skid steer has the bulletproof glass,
okay.
Shatterproof.
shatterproof. Depends on the
It could be
neighborhood.
bullet-
Depends on the neighborhood. You don't know where you are.
Well, the way that tree comes out of there, it might as well be bullet. Stuff flying pretty good. Well, we cut back the first time and are they gonna take ours on trade or what? Any of these guys?
Didn't you
Doesn't
say we're
look like
keeping it, Brad? They were only allowing us, what, 20 for it?
I think the offer from the Rage outfit, I think was in the 7,000 or 8,000 range for it, so it's almost not worth it. If you're gonna get rid of it, you're better to sell it. But
Does everybody want some more time to talk about it for a couple weeks?
Oh, I think we've talked about it long enough. It's gonna be winter pretty soon.
Brad might have a point as far as getting to it, I mean, in certain ditches, you just can't go with the skid steer, I mean, upside down maybe, yeah, but
Yeah, but
I
I mean, it could-
you need the brush head on a.
Terry, it could dry in a month's time too. So
No,
I'm
but I
saying
mean,
wait
there's
forever.
lots of ditches that aren't like that, we need a combination of both, like, we gotta be able to. Yeah, cause we're 20 years behind in brush cutting, so, I mean, it's very obvious you go for a drive around, I mean, them trees should have been cut when they're like this, not like this, you know. It takes them stubby poplars about that long to grow.
Well, those big trees, that's where the big scrub head would come in.
Yes, I mean, but they're short, all the stuff in our ditches, they're not 80-foot trees, they're lucky to be 40 feet tall.
I don't imagine that there's anything we'd have to scrub that this couldn't handle if it can get to it.
Yeah, well, if it can't get to it, well, then we have to go with something with some reach, that's all. I mean, you can only do so much with any piece of equipment, it doesn't matter what it is, that's why there's all different kinds, right?
I don't suppose they make a head that would interchange with
With the track hole.
With the track hole.
I don't know.
It'd be a bruiser.
Yeah.
What did we spend 20,000 on that other one, right? That other guy,
Yep.
wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was about
Hold
20.
up.
So it's really gonna be no good to us then. Nobody,
Unless you use it for lighter stuff, eh?
It would be good if you're going into a lot of small growth.
well, I suppose we could sell it eventually, I mean, it might take some time to sell it. Not everybody cuts trees, you know, with a skid steer. Well, what'd you say we budgeted, 36?
36, I believe we budgeted, didn't we?
Good check, maybe.
So this doesn't include hoses and all that?
The Rage one does,
Yeah, for 46,000.
and it's 46. The other one is gonna be 38 plus taxes and then whatever to get it here. So I would say that we would still come in lower with the other one.
With the 38,000,
Yes.
And that one was recommended, Brad?
You
well,
know,
he says this model would be my recommendation for cost to productivity
from the
ratio.
Diamond guy, he recommends that 38,000 one. But which one's better, Diamond versus the Rage one, I don't know.
Separately in there.
I've seen more videos of the Rage one.
It's separate.
Diamond has videos online, looks pretty comparable, but
So the financial plan.
Icon, is that the one?
Because we would find it. The back page is listed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Rage, is that the one you're thinking of?
that's the one we watched the video of here.
That's not the one we're thinking of, so we gotta go back to the other quote.
It's very,
Leave that
We're looking at discussion number 1.
right near the back.
you know, I'm not sure, I'm just gonna see if I can find the video quick. I mean,
Are you talking about miscellaneous?
right on their cover here, there are some
Should be
crazy
a little
mulchers.
Further back where it talks about reserves, it should be page up and down, things like that, and it should say in there.
Mulcher, 30. Mulcher, 30. That's what we budgeted. So not 40. Not 45. What do you want to take out of there?
Well, that belt driven one speeds up in a hurry, 15 seconds, she's at full RPM.
Yep,
We said we were gonna sell a trailer, correct? We got a
the one that
different
we put the new
trailer.
deck on, we're gonna sell.
Okay. We're also gonna sell the other,
Councillor?
we're gonna sell, yeah, we're gonna sell,
Who's gonna give anything for any of us?
we're gonna sell the other mulcher, correct?
Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
If we
We
buy
sell the
this
mulch.
one, we wouldn't need the second one.
We haven't bought a low bed, right?
And,
How much that thing was, how many
Disco?
hours, is there hours on it, Brad, or no?
No, these are brand new.
No, the mulcher that we have.
Oh, the mulch that we
It's not
have.
really hours, there's
One
no hours, just
season,
the hours on
one
the machine,
season.
it's just one, not even a season, didn't we get it late last fall?
No, we
Yeah,
haven't.
we
Late
got
last
it.
It
fall.
got some good hours, I think, put on it, but it's not worn out by any means.
Should advertise the thing and whatever we get for it.
Should be worth at least 10,000 yet.
Yeah, half price.
Yeah, if they're offering us 8 on trade, I would think it's gotta be worth 10, 11, 12,
Yeah.
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
So would it be, if I'm not seeing a real clear plan, would it be permissible if we got Mr. Kushniryk and Mr. Burick together outside of the meeting at some point in the next 2 weeks to hash this out and figure out which one? And maybe Mr. Neely, if he has some time, he's got some experience with it, and kind of come back with a, this is for sure the one and why? Rather than us trying to just go.
Yeah, I'd like to ask some questions.
Yeah.
A few people before.
Okay, so is that, can I leave that with you folks to talk about that and come back in 2 weeks with some sort of recommendation of what we should do? You guys gonna sort it out? Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, because we've already made one mistake, we don't want to make two,
Exactly.
you know.
Yep. Okay. I don't see any correspondence on the agenda tonight, so we'll move to committee reports. We will start with Councillor Zbirun.
Other than Parkland meeting we had today, nothing.
Councillor Neely.
Councillor Neely.
Go on, sorry.
That'll be you.
Nothing to report, we got airport tomorrow night.
What?
Airport commission meeting.
How come I don't have anything, no,
It should be in your emails. Unless mine was from last fall, so
Could be, eh?
let me check again.
Councillor McGregor.
No committee
No, on June
reports.
26th, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, town office.
I didn't check my email, okay.
No committees to report on, but I did attend the crime meeting last night. And I think we went in the right direction with this GIS. I think people have had it up to here.
We went in the right direction, you say, or not?
Yeah,
Yeah, good, right, good.
And it was interesting. It was nice to talk to some of the people working with the Justice Minister and what kind of information they were looking for. And it was quite interesting. I learned quite a bit from it. And it was a good way to gauge what ratepayers are thinking too, just by what was being said around the room.
98% in favor. No,
Some language going around that room I don't think I would repeat here. It was,
not that many people in
well, there was a
favor.
lot of people there. There's about 100.
He just means we're the people in favor of what was
I think
proposed.
most people are, yeah.
Of the GIS.
Yeah, well, we gotta do something. Like, whether they agree with that or not, something's gotta happen. It's obvious it's not working. Some of the things you're doing aren't working. And, it was very, very constructive meeting. I quite enjoyed it. It was nice to hear from provincial side of it, so.
Councillor Burick.
I had no committee meetings, only thing was the Parkland District meeting today. That was it.
Councillor Blosha.
I was at the district meeting today. A week or so ago, I had a short health foundation meeting. That was all for me.
Councillor Kushniryk.
Just a couple of things that I'll discuss in camera, and that's it for me this time.
Okay. So I too was at the AMM meeting today. I was there a little earlier than most of you guys because I did set up and I did tear down after too. Yesterday I was at the Lions Recycling plant, which we talked about a little earlier on. We also did quite a lot of the AMM prep yesterday. Back into last week, on Tuesday last week, Kristi and I met with the Emergency Measures Organization. They came here, so they have a new rep for the area. She was here to introduce herself. She's actually originally from Bozeman, but she's in Winnipeg now. So we talked to them about what EMO does and how that all works. I met with the mayor, that was on the 13th of June, regarding the GIS agreement. Trying to work out the kinks in that. As you know, there was some disappointment at our last meeting, and we expressed that, and that caused a lot of discussion amongst various municipalities in the valley as we all worked through those concerns. And I reported to council privately, but I'll report publicly that last week Minnetonka's Bozeman had a change of heart, and they decided to join us in the existing agreement that everybody else had already approved for signature. So that brought all 4 municipalities on board. And while folks were eating lunch today at the AMM meeting, the 4 heads of council signed the final agreement. So the GIS agreement is signed, and the program is being ordered, and as soon as the RCMP can provide it to us, it will be arriving in the valley to start annoying criminals throughout the entire valley. So it's incredibly nice to see us all work together on that and get it done. The work now obviously is just beginning, but our part of it is mostly done on getting it arranged, and now we get the professionals to come in and start seeing what they can do. I think they'll have a little fun here for a while, because it'll be pretty easy the first while, but that was good. That is most of what I've done that I can share publicly. We've certainly had some HR issues that we'll talk about in camera. Is there anything you want to share tonight?
No, I don't think so. I've
Alright.
attended some of those things alongside you, and I feel the same. I've learned a lot, just kind of watching and listening and trying to put some pieces together of these different organizations and what they do for us.
Any questions amongst anybody for any of this stuff? Hearing nothing, we are going to take a break tonight. And when we come back about 10 minutes from now, we'll be going in camera. Tonight we'll be discussing some personnel matters. I see there's some job applications. We have a very interesting one called Brian Speaks About the Future. I'm looking forward to see what that particular item
Where's that gonna take us?
holds.
Maybe Jeremy wants to stay in video
Yeah,
then.
video on video. Be silence, no sound in that video.
All right, with that, then we will be in recess for about 10 minutes. We'll head to 11.1. Be it resolved that pursuant to section 1523, the Municipal Act Council shall meet as a committee of the whole to close the meeting and continue discussions in camera regarding personnel matters, negotiations, preliminary discussions, and investigations or enforcement of an act or bylaw. Is there someone to move the resolution, please? Councillor Neely and Councillor Zbirun was the number 2. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That's carried. Coming out of the in-camera session, we'll go to 11.3. Is there any discussion or resolutions that you want to talk about, Mr. Burick?
Well, you asked me last meeting to pick a road that we wanted to mulch, Brad? Is that still or no? Or we're not gonna do that?
Gotcha, yeah, for the
Mulcher.
for the road, yeah.
I was gonna pick my road. No. I mean, they say it's a bad road, a bad thing. So I mean, if
But
it's
you know what?
damaged, at least we don't
Outside
damage.
my road, there's a massive frost heave, and I said, don't do anything near my house.
I would say experiment on Brian's.
Well, that's what I said, because they say it's bad when it's done, so I don't wanna destroy
But if
anybody
it works
else's
out
road.
good, that's a bad idea.
Does anybody else drive on your
It's a mile.
Well, you know, Brian, we can't even get the road graded.
I know, that's what I mean. So you wanna leave it for now? I mean, we've got that,
Yours is bad, I'll give you that, right?
2025, oh, that's
we've got that machine and it's been sitting there.
2025, we could squeeze you in maybe.
2025.
Yeah.
With this machine's been sitting there, I don't probably rusted by now.
I went and looked at it, there's still paint not even
Still
worn
paint
off
on
it.
it?
The
Well,
only
no,
reason-
you said pick a road, so I thought, well,
What's
it's
that?
a mile. You said pick a road, so it's a mile.
Pick a mile, but I think we should pick a mile not on a councillor's road.
Okay. Because
Just for
like I
the
say,
public perception of doing your own first.
well, no, sometimes they say it's worse and better the first little while, so.
198, it did a good job.
198 did a good job?
Yeah.
So you did, when did they use it last?
When Carmen was still working here.
Carmen, I don't know what Carmen is.
1997.
Okay, well, no, well, okay, do I pick a road in Ward 6, or you wanna pick a road in your area there somewhere, so whatever?
I mean, ours would be easy if we come to our area, we've got 200, 198.
Cause all my roads got those lips.
198
Look at
already
this.
has it.
Secondary.
Is the
Secondary
goal
ditches.
to take the secondary ditch off, or what do we want to do with this thing?
Secondary ditch, take it off.
My understanding is you chew both sides, the secondary ditch, you pull all that stuff up
Yeah.
in the middle, build a crown, put fresh gravel on top and go. Well, you pack it first.
Mulch it
So it
out.
should be someplace that has a secondary ditch.
Yes.
My 1 mile does.
Or you're just looking to chew a pile of potholes out. Like where some of these roads are calcium that it's so deep you can't cut it anymore. Now, ones that I see all the time, of course, are the end of the railway coming out or but past the cemetery are just destroyed. But there's places like that everywhere, so I don't want to pick somewhere too close to me.
Any other discussion arising from in camera?
We're out of count.
Arising from in
No
camera.
from in count.
Moving on, any notices of motion to present tonight? Hearing nothing. We'll move to 13, the adjournment. Be it resolved, this meeting shall now adjourn at 9:35 p.m. Be it further resolved, the next meeting is Tuesday, July,
Second Tuesday.
must be the 9th,
Yeah.
2024 at 7 p.m. Councillor Neely, I see, and I believe I also see Councillor Blosha.
So I thought it would be a later meeting.
Any
than that.
discussion?
I'm back.
Hearing nothing, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That's carried.